Good afternoon, children. This is your second lecture of class 10th and first of English. So I welcome you all. First of all, I would like to tell you that what I am going to teach you today. Today I am going to discuss formal letters. What we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss formal letters. But before I start, let me tell you that there are two sections. In writing, there are two things in class 10th. First is formal letter and second is story writing. Formal letters are of four kinds. First is letter for placing order. What is first? First is letter for placing order. Second is letter of inquiry. Second is letter of inquiry. Third is letter of complaint. By chance you want to file any complaint against somebody, then third kind of letter, formal letter, is letter of complaint. And fourth is letter to the editor. The fourth kind of formal letter is letter to the editor. Dear children, at home you are receiving online video lectures, and this week you are going through a letter to God. That is a kind of informal letter. So to our repetition of content, I have taken a different topic, that is formal letters. And out of these four kind of formal letters, today we are going to discuss the first kind of letter for placing order. So I request you all that you please keep your notebook and pen ready. I am getting some queries from the children that they are asking me, ma'am, where we should just do, where we should write the homework which has been assigned to you, assigned to them in the lectures. So for that, my answer is that if you have new notebooks, you can frame two notebooks, one for master notebook and second for assignment notebook, and the work which is being done now, that you are to do in master notebook. And by chance you don't have any new notebook at home, so you can use your rough notebook for keeping these notes ready, handy for your future reference. So let's start. First letter for placing order. First of all, I am going to discuss the format of the letter. Format. Correct format is very important when we are writing formal letters, because in board exam there is complete 1 mark especially for format. So first let's see what is the format for the letter for placing an order. First of all, what we write, we will write self-address. We will be writing self-address. Then there will come date. After that, we will be writing the address of the addressee. Or we can say, in simple words, we can say receiver's address. Receiver's address. Then we'll be writing subject. Then there will be salutation, sir. Then there will be introductory paragraph. Introductory paragraph will be describing what we want to ask for what thing we are going to place an order, and then there will be next paragraph where we will be describing what our order is. The next paragraph describing the order. Then there will be one more paragraph and then after that there will be yours sincerely or yours faithfully. And then name. So you write all these points, this format in your notebook. I think you are following me. You are writing with me. Yes? Then let's move further and I am going to give you one sample of letter for placing an order. Question is that your school requires books for classes 9th and 10th and you want to place an order to a publisher to supply you some books. So let's see how we are going to write this letter. So first of all, as I have told you earlier, what will be there? Yes, there will be self-address. So we are writing the address of our school. Dishikul Vidyapeeth Devdu Road, Soni. After that, what we are to do? We are to leave one line. So to remind you that I am leaving one line, I am putting one simple line here so that you can remember that you are supposed to leave one line here. So after leaving one line, what we are supposed to write? Yes, we are to write date. So I am writing date, and what is the date of today? It's 4 April 2020. Dear children, what happens? Sometimes we write date like this, 4/4/20. Though it's correct, but you are not supposed to follow this kind of format while writing date. Sometimes we write 4 April and then like this. This is also not this particular format or standard format for writing date. You should avoid this kind of date also. Sometimes you write 4/4/20. Again, this is not a standard format. You should avoid this also. So, what is the correct way? As I have told you, the correct way is 4 April 2020. Sometimes what happens? Sometimes children write. Sometimes they write DATE and then they write date. Is it correct? No. Because when you are writing 4 April 2020, it itself says, it itself explains that it's a date. So you are not supposed to write DATE before writing date. Okay? 4 April. 2020. Then again we are to leave one line. And why I am putting these lines here? So that you can remember that we are leaving one line here blank after writing date. And what will come now? Yes. Now we'll write address of the addressee. And here who is the addressee? To whom we are writing the letter? We are writing a letter to the store manager of a publishing company. So I'll be writing the name of the person first. So who is that? That is the, or he or she is the store manager. Store manager. Let's assume any publishing company. Here I am assuming Messrs. Full Marks Private Limited. Then what will be their address? Say 4338 upon A1. And where mostly these publishing houses are situated? Yes, generally they are situated in Daryaganj, New Delhi. So we are writing the address of the publishing house. So here there can be a question in the mind of children that can we write the address as we wish to, or we are supposed to follow certain rules. So my answer to that is, if the address is given in the question, you are supposed to write the same address. And by chance no address is given, then you can assume, you can write an imaginary address. So we are writing imaginary address here, because in the question I have not told you that where this publishing house is situated. So we are writing an imaginary address here. After that, what we have to do? Again we have to leave one line. Every time I am putting this line to remind you that here you are going to leave one line blank. So then what will come here? There will come subject. And what is the subject? Placing an order. Subject is placing an order for books. After that, we'll be writing sir. Salutation, we'll be writing sir. Now, there is, say, a certain kind of debate that whether sir should come first or subject should come first. There is a debate whether subject should come first or sir should come first. So, what I think or what I have observed, that both of these are correct. If I am writing sir before subject, it's also correct. If I am writing subject after sir, that's also correct. For example, if I am writing in this way, before subject, there is subject and then there is sir, it's correct. And by chance I am writing sir here and then subject, it is also correct. So no need to confuse that where sir would come. It can come either before the subject or after the subject. I think by now you are following me. So what you have observed by now? By now you must have observed that I am writing all these words in a symmetry. Is it important? Is it necessary? Yes. It's very important, it's very necessary that you are writing all these words. The words which are the first word in a proper sequence. Particular sequence must be followed and all the first word must be there in the proper sequence. So let's move further. Have you written up to here? I hope you must have done. So let's move further. I have done subject, placing in order 4 books, then I have done sir. Now I'll be writing my first paragraph. I'll be writing first paragraph, which says, in which I'm introducing why I'm writing this letter. So for that I'm starting from here, as I have told you that you are to start from the very beginning of the line. So first you introduce yourself, who you are. Who is writing the letter? Who you are. Introduce yourself. So we are writing, after sir we are writing, our school requires books for classes 9th and 10th for the next session. We wish to place an order for the same with your store. Why? Why this particular store? So we can just praise them as you are the largest wholesale supplier and yes, because this store is the wholesale supplier in the area. And what more? What more? Why you are interested to place an order with the same store only? So we are writing one more reason. And offer the most competitive prices. Competitive prices. Full stop, and then you will be writing one line. The order is as follows. The order is as follows. And now you are to use pencil and scale to draw this table. Now what you are supposed to do? You are to use pencil and scale to draw the table for writing the books, for writing the items, for writing the things which you want to order to this particular store. There might be some doubt in the mind of some children that why we are using pencil scale. Can't we write with this just a simple pen? No. You should use pencil, sharp pencil and scale for drawing this table. So let's see what are the columns which we are going to prepare here. So First is serial number. First is serial number. Then name of the book. Name of the book. Then publisher. Publisher. Then class. And then quantity. And then quantity. So is it necessary that whenever you are writing letter for placing order, at a time the columns will be like that only? No, it's not necessary. Because sometimes the things will be changed. For example, if you are asking for some sort of electronic equipments, then the columns will be different. There will be name of the equipment or the name of the item. Then there will be no publisher, there will be company. And then class will be just, it will be left, and then there will be quantity. So these columns depend on the kind of order you are going to place for. Okay. So as far as this question is concerned, let's move further. Serial number. So I'm writing a serial number 1. Name of the book. Write the book of your English. I'm writing the first flight. That is your book of English. The first flight. The first flight. Who is the publisher? NCERT. Class 10th. Quantity. It depends on the strength of your class, because you are asking for the whole school. So the quantity must be such that it can cater to the need of the whole school. So I am writing here 500. Okay, 500. Then second, footprints without feet. Footprints without feet. That is also the name of your book of English. NCERT, again that's the publisher. It's for class 10. Quantity, again there will be 500. Next comes the next book. Let's write science textbook. And who is the publisher? Again NCERT. Class 10th. 500. You can ask for, it's not necessary that every time you are writing the same class. Let's change it now. Science textbook. NCERT. Class 9th. 450. Book number 5. Maths textbook. NCERT. Class 10. 500. So what you have observed, that I have written here the names of 5 books. So one question, minimum how many serial numbers or how many books we should write? So my answer, minimum 5, not less than 5. You can write 6, you can write 7, you can write 8. Of course you are not supposed to write 10. 6, 7, 8, that's enough. And then, but not less than 5. Okay. So see what I have done. Serial number, name of the book, publisher, class, quantity. Now there can a question in the minds of children. Can we write the name of fake publishers? My answer is yes, you can. By chance you don't remember. In exams you are not able to recall. You are not able to remember that who was the publisher. So the best way is that you write NCERT. You write the name of your textbooks. Best way is you write the names of your textbooks, because at least you know that NCERT is the publisher of those books. So write that and then class and then quantity. So let's move further. Now I am writing the last paragraph, and for that I have to rub it off. So in the last paragraph, what we are writing, now we are giving some conditions that the store is supposed to keep in mind while just sending the things to us. Okay? So after that table, I am writing last paragraph, and that is kindly ensure that all the books are hardbound and packed properly. We expect a discount of at least 25%. What we are asking for? We are asking for a discount on bulk purchase. So we are supposed to write this line that we want or we expect at least a discount of 25%. Then in case of any damage, damage in transit. In transit means when the things are sent from the store to the school. So by chance during this phase there is any damage to the books. So what will be the condition? In case of any damage in transit, the goods, and here what are the goods? Books. The books will be returned at your own cost. At your own cost. Full stop. Payment will be made by check as soon as we receive the order. Now we have discussed, now we have told how we are going to give the payment of the order. And then last writing, we expect delivery of what? Delivery of the books within a week. Within a week. And now at the end there will be yours sincerely. And then name. So here write name Ram. And who is Ram? Librarian. Who is Ram? Ram is librarian. So this is the last paragraph of the letter. Now you write this, and I am going to discuss with you one more letter. I am going to give you one question. You should try to do it at your home, and by chance you face any problem, you should ask me. I'll be there to help you. So, but before I finish, I'll tell you one thing, that when we are writing the letters, these formal letters, we should not start from one page and that we should not end it at the another page. What we should do, we should try to write them in the mid page. For example, you can start from here and you can end here. This is your page, your notebook, it's opened. Start your formal letters from here and end it here. So at last I'm going to give you one question, and the question is that your school is organizing a painting competition and you are the faculty head of arts department. Write a letter for placing order to a bookstore for providing you the things required for this competition. Invent the necessary details. Thank you.